Let's speak to Brad Bowman, Senior Director of the Centre on Military and Political Power at the Foundation for Defence of Democracies. Thanks very much for being with us. On the question of succession, do you think it is likely, plausible, unlikely that the US president is going to be able to install or back a future leader of Iran?
Thanks for the question. To me, it feels a tad premature because we still have many days to go in the military campaign to accomplish the core objectives that the administration has laid out, including destroying the Navy, destroying as much as possible of their ballistic missile program, and destroying what's left of their known nuclear program sites. But, my main focus is I want a government there that represents the interests of the Iranian people rather than the export of terrorism. And I think the Iranian people get that, then that's going to be a leader that will be consistent with the American national security interest. And I think that's really where the focus should be. And I'd say anyone in this regime is not going to fit that bill if you look at what they've done since 1979.
Would you expect that they have been speaking to potential contenders that they are backing?
Well, the president's comments suggested that was the case. He had said he had identified some individuals and some of them were now dead. But I personally just don't like the look of Americans picking and choosing. I think that's for the Iranian people. And the reason I feel comfortable saying that is both because of our democratic principles, but also because I believe if the Iranian people get a leader that they want, that it's going to be someone that will be just fine from an American national security perspective. But this regime is rotten to the core. They're the leading state sponsor of terrorism. They are responsible for the deaths of hundreds and hundreds of Americans. And anyone who from that regime will be inconsistent with American national security interests, and this decades-long conflict will simply continue.
Obviously, the population within Iran, we believe, is still quite split on that question as to what might come next. But can you just tell me what you make so far of the US military operation and where you think it's heading?
The U.S. military operation, as someone who served in the U.S. Army and taught at West Point, has been incredibly impressive. The integration and cooperation between the U.S. and Israel has been extraordinary. The destruction of the Navy is well underway. Most of the Iranian Navy will not be afloat in a few days. We're going to have air dominance over Iran in the next few days, able to hit any target at will repeatedly, and we're going to be able to take out most of their nuclear sites. I think that will happen in the next 2 to 3 weeks. But that doesn't answer the regime change question. We still have more than 100,000 at least members of the IRGC, many of them wielding a brutal ideology and guns, and an educated, impressive, and unarmed Iranian population. And there are real costs associated with the Kurdish strategy that we have to be mindful of.
Okay, Brad Bowman, I'm sorry to run out of time on this. There's a lot of breaking news this hour too, as you'll understand, but very good to speak to you. Thank you so much.